was out there, went head-to-head with Charlie Chaplin over Chaplin's movies that showed officials as oafish buffoons, which is what the audience wanted to see. And ultimately, J. Edgar Hoover was part of the group that succeeded in getting Chaplin's citizenship revoked and getting him kicked out of the United States of America, proving that, yes, the FBI can hold a grudge for a really, really long time here. So this CBS executive is saying, this idea that we're informants for the FBI is outrageous and untrue. And if you can't trust the news organization that told you to buy Bear Stearns the week before it collapsed, I mean, really, who can you trust? Okay. Portugal has now defaulted on their debt, raising more and more concern that the U.S. might, in fact, be doing the same. We're going to be talking about the pending government shutdown tomorrow. Yes, shut it down. Change the locks on the city. Belgium's been without a central national government for almost a year, and it's working out very well for them. I think we should try the same thing here. Now, interesting little story has come down. As you know, the Deepwater Horizon, the silver medal holder for environmental devastation, is now the Gulf oil disaster from last year. Famous fleeting. I'm sure British Petroleum thought they were going to hold the record for greatest destruction done to nature by a single incident for decades to come. And here we are, Fukushima's just taken that away from them. All those years of training and work and self-sacrifice and dedication, and all glory is fleeting. What can I tell you? So anyway, the lawsuits are still flying, and there is an ongoing federal investigation after the fact, when it's too late to do anything, of course, into the Gulf of Mexico disaster. 3 of the employees of Transocean that owned and operated the actual drilling platform, the Deepwater Horizon, are flat out refusing to cooperate with federal investigators. One of the reasons they're doing it, we're just now finding this out, is we've already mentioned how they were not using a device called an acoustic blowout preventer, which is an automated device that literally listens at that pipe coming up out of the earth. And if it hears a giant gas bubble blowing past, it'll shut down to prevent this, this huge kick at the wellhead, which is what causes these explosions and disasters. And it is not mandated in the United States. They cost about $500,000 each. They're mandated everywhere else, but not in the United States of America, because we love oil companies here, and we'll just let them do whatever they want to do. As it turns out, the equipment they did have on the wellhead, the blowout preventer, whose failure was a major component of the Gulf oil disaster last year, it turns out it was 4 years overdue for maintenance, even by Transocean's own internal guidelines. Transocean's own guidelines were saying this has to be maintained. You've got to change the gaskets, got to make sure the valve, got to just check it out. It's like running your car, way past the time for a tune-up. Things are going to start breaking. Things are just going to start going bad. Now we're finding out they weren't maintaining their equipment. Now, I want the name of the money junkie who decided they were going to save a few bucks and make the stockholders happier by not doing the regular periodic maintenance. Because the failure to do that maintenance is a major reason everything blew up. That blowout preventer would not operate the way it was supposed to, and there was no backup for it. And that's how we got this huge, disaster in the Gulf of Mexico. And I'm not surprised that some of the Transocean people are refusing to testify. They're basically doing, Fifth Amendment. I'm not going to say anything that's going to get myself thrown in jail or sued or anything like that. But despite all of this, BP has been given permission to restart these very deep well drilling projects in the Gulf of Mexico, just in time to start writing checks to President Barack Obama's 2012 campaign. Because he's not going back out to the grassroots people that he used to win his first term in office, because they're not there anymore. They're ticked off. So he's relying on the big corporate donors, the British Petroleum, the General Electrics, the usual gang. Because they're going to need a president who's going to protect them from the consequences of all the stuff that's been going on down here. So BP is out there drilling, and the checks are flowing into Obama's 2012 campaign, and life is as it should be. Alrighty. Now, over in Libya, we have another headline story. Libyan rebels near Ajdabiya killed in NATO air strike. We're seeing a lot of this. Have you noticed this? NATO, we're in there, we're protecting the people against Gaddafi, and we're trying to protect civilian lives, and yet every time there's an airstrike, it seems to be hitting the other guys, the rebels, the ones whose side we are at least ideologically aligned with, against that tyrant dictator Gaddafi. There's something very weird going on here. Well, actually, I've been telling you what's been going on all along, and I told you that back on March 8th, when it became known that Israel had supplied 50,000 mercenaries to Gaddafi to put down the revolution. I said, Israel wants Gaddafi kept in power. He's been bought, he's been bribed, he's controlled, he can be relied on to not get in Israel's way as they go about doing what they're doing. With the collapse of Hosni Mubarak's government in Egypt, and the new government of Egypt making very nice political gestures towards Iran, Israel is very, very nervous that the balance of power it is shifting in the Middle East, that it's losing its ability to influence events around that area, that part of the world, rather. And so they want Gaddafi kept in power. And the United States government is stuck in this very awkward situation of talking about liberty and will of the people and everything, and yet having to somehow support keeping Gaddafi in power. Remember, a few days ago, they said we're going to, at the end of the military mission, Gaddafi might still be in power. They're already trying to sell this. And the reason I bring this up is we're getting all these comments from the FBI about how they're expecting Libyan terrorists to strike inside the United States of America. And it occurs to me what's going to go on is there's going to be another phony terror attack. They're going to say it's Al-Qaeda and they're aligned with the Libyan rebels, and that will be the device they'll use to convince the American people it's cool to change sides and support Gaddafi staying in power. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're planning on doing. In order to sell you on the idea that we have to support the guy that we've said all along, oh, he's a bad guy, he's got to go. Nope, got to keep him in power. All righty. Are we on break yet here? No, I guess not. I got one more minute to go. No, there it is. Okay. I'm on a new show clock. The old one burned out, so I'm still making adjustments here. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Do you need help getting your child to behave? I'm behavioral therapist James Lehman, and I'm willing to give away thousands of my best-selling total transformation programs for free. All you do is tell us how the program works for you and your family. Did it turn around your child's behavior? Did the screaming and arguing stop in your home? Is he doing better in school? The total transformation has helped hundreds of thousands of families. I want to see what it can do for you, and I'm willing to let you have it for free. Just order my program. Use it with your child, then send me your feedback. I'll refund the purchase price of the program. You keep the Total Transformation Program forever, for free. You don't have to struggle with your child's bad behavior one more day, because now you can try my Total Transformation, and the program will be free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-583-1093. 1-800-583-1093. That's 1-800-583-1093.
Introducing IXL Anti-Friction Metal Conditioner. IXL works at the molecular level to reduce friction by penetrating into and bonding onto the microscopic openings of the walls of ferrous-based metals. The surfaces become smoother and denser, and this reduces the heat, friction, metal expansion, and wear caused by moving metal surfaces. The benefits are reduced maintenance activities and cost, increased fuel efficiency, and prolonged equipment life. It will not clog filters, pipes, injectors, or supply lines, does not build up or accumulate upon itself as do many other additives. IXL does not contain moly, PTFE, or graphites. Also offers the tremendous benefits of being non-toxic. It's used for a friction reducer and performance enhancer in gas or diesel engines, transmissions, automatic or standard gearboxes, turbos, electric motors, outdrives, lathe, and cutting applications. Go to republicbroadcasting.org, then to our online store, or call us at 800-724-2719. That's 800-724-2719.
In times like these, you can't depend on the government to keep you warm and fed, but you can depend on the Vermont Bun Baker to do just that. With the Vermont Bun Baker, you'll never be in a situation where you can't cook, bake, fry, boil water, or heat your home, all at the same time. One of the most revolutionary cook stoves, wood stoves ever, the Vermont Bun Baker is available with or without soapstone veneer. a natural stone that retains heat and radiates it back into the room once the fire is out. A beautiful addition to your home, the Vermont Bun Baker has an efficiency rating well above 75% and qualifies for the wood stove tax credit. For more information, watch the Vermont Bun Baker on YouTube and live stream or visit us at www.vermontwoodstove.com. You can also reach us by calling 1-866-SOAPSTONE. Don't ever be hungry or cold because the power's gone out. With a Vermont Bun Baker, all you have to worry about is what's for dinner.
What Really Happened with your host, Mike Rivero. Visit us online at whatreallyhappened.com. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
Excuse me, and aloha, America. Welcome back to the show here. And we've got this situation here where over in Libya, we are being told that we're on the side of democracy and freedom and the right of the people to choose their own leaders, and yet somehow NATO keeps bombing the wrong people, and they keep coming up with all these lame excuses like, oh, the rebels were in the wrong place. It's not convenient for us for them to be over here, you know, and Gaddafi's people ought to be out in the desert and in these nice little clusters that are easy to bomb. And of course, the other lame one they had the other day about how, well, Gaddafi's just putting civilians where we drop our bombs to make us look bad. But the reality is, if you look at what is being hit, excuse me, if you look at what's being hit and actually being accomplished, it doesn't line up with what we're being told is the goal of being in Libya. We're killing far more of the rebels than even Gaddafi is doing. And I think the reason we're getting this sort of pre-sale on a Libyan terror attack inside the United States of America is they're thinking about pulling off a false flag, saying it's Al-Qaeda, and oh my goodness, they're allied with the Libyan rebels. We can't support them. We can't back them. We have to protect Gaddafi from Al-Qaeda. And that will be the sales pitch to explain to you why all of a sudden we're fighting on the side of the tyrant and dictator that we've been propagandized was this really evil person that we tried to bomb, you know, back during the Reagan administration. We missed him and we killed his daughter. So it's a little bit out there where we're being told we're fighting for freedom and democracy, and we wind up supporting a dictator yet again. It's not like it's the first time it's ever happened here. All right, now over in Israel, a lot of stuff is starting to happen over there. First of all, I want to basically get onto this story about the so-called synagogue pipe bomb in Santa Monica this morning. Early this morning in Santa Monica, California, there was a loud bang, and apparently there was a piece of debris stuck through the roof of a house that just happened to be near a synagogue. And immediately the media starts saying, oh, it's a pipe bomb. It's an attack on the synagogue. It's a hate crime. It's those Nazis and Al-Qaeda and the anti-Semites, and they're trying to destroy our synagogue. And it was all over the news, and everybody was just going to town with this thing about, we must stand with Israel because otherwise the bombers are coming, the terrorists are coming. It turns out there was no bomb. It turns out that yet another piece of the American infrastructure that is overstressed, overused, poorly maintained, way past need for replacement, failed, went bang, and blew shards of itself into the sky, and some of them came down, one of them on this house that just happened to be next to the synagogue. It was not a bomb. It was not an attack on the synagogue. And now the media is just saying, okay, never mind all about that stuff. I mean, they got their headlines out there. Oh, synagogue under attack. Oh, the poor feel sympathy for Israel and all those people because they're under attack, and oh, never mind, we'll go find something else to report on now. And it's just an illustration of how the American corporate media isn't interested in reporting the news. They're interested in using the news to sell whatever their agenda is, which is, oh, we must support Israel, we must hate the Muslims and attack the Muslims, and gosh darn those anti-Semite mad bombers who hit the house next door, kind of stuff. Now, with that out of the way, we're looking at some other things going on. Israel has finally officially admitted to the attack on Sudan, saying, oh, there was somebody from Hamas in there, and we have a right to go anywhere in the world and kill anybody that we think is aiding Hamas or in any way, shape, or form aligned with them. Now, in point of fact, under international law, no.